Hello everyone, my name is Bruce Scott. I am the Risk Assurance Leader, PwC in the Caribbean for Southern Territories. I'm also the Territory Leader for PwC Jamaica. I want to talk about the very important topic of seeing risk differently. And I want to introduce this by giving you a little anecdote, a little story. Two men were on a construction site and they were laying blocks. They were masons. And a complete stranger went up to one of the men and said, "Tell me, what are you doing?" And the man said, "I'm building a building." And then he turned his attention to his friend and said, "What are you doing?" And the man looked up at him with this proud look and said, "I am building the world's greatest cathedral." And the man was struck by the pride with which he spoke. And what that meant was that the second guy took so much pride, was always on time, made the sacrifice to be at work, and did a masterful job. And I think that leads nicely into what we want to talk about today, is your view, your perspective on a thing will influence your behavior and your attitude and the level of investment that you will put towards that thing. PwC did a survey in 2004. As old as it is, it's timeless. And in that survey, the argument was made that CEOs who gave priority, did not do risk from the side of a table, saw significant positive impact in their reputational risk management, their ability to comply with laws and regulations. Given that little statistic to drive home the point that when you behave in the right way and you see risks through the right lens, you'll be inspired to manage it better. So you must be saying, "Bruce, what do we mean by risk?" There are so many definitions of risk. And there's the COSO ERM framework that they define risk. There's ISO 31000, which is one of the leading standards on risk. IEEE has a definition for risk, but risk comes down to three words: objectives, impact, and likelihood. It's the likelihood of an event happening that could have a positive or negative impact on your objective. So how are you gonna be successful? How are you gonna thrive and not survive? If you're gonna see risk differently to be successful in this broken, disruptive world, your leaders need to start to shift who owns what in terms of risk roles. So if I'm running sales and I miss my sales target and even have a risk manager, that sales manager should not try to say, "Oh, the risk manager didn't give me my risk assessment tool on time." No, the risks are owned by the department leaders. Another shift, how we identify and assess risk. I am arguing that we need to change probably how we identify and assess risk by adding in another variable called velocity. Velocity speaks to the speed with which an event will start to impact you. Illustration: hurricane is a friendly disaster. Hey, I'm coming every June to November, so I can plan. Tornado, I'm done within a few seconds. The tornado is a faster velocity. And so when you assess your risk, you need to ask yourself, will the impact be tornado-like or will it be hurricane-like? Those risks that are tornado-like, that could be catastrophic and are very likely, need to be at the top of the list in your boardroom. And the last thing that we need to change in terms of how we see risk is how we monitor risk. It's one thing to know that you have a risk exposure. It's like setting your budget. I'm only gonna spend $100 on eating out this week. You need to have a method of sticking to the $100. When you reach $99 or about to reach 100, you need to stick to that 100. If you're gonna go over, you need to chop something else. It's the same thing with monitoring risk. So if risk monitoring is gonna be successful, leaders need to move away from just looking at if a KPI is missed. So if I miss my sales target by 5%, that's telling you that something is not working, but that's too late. You already missed the sales target. Now we need to move away from just KPIs, we still need them, to KRIs, key risk indicators. So I've made 3 points. If companies are going to be successful in a fractured world with all the disruptions, it cannot be business as usual in terms of how we see risk. We need to change from the blue lens, maybe to a clear lens. And to shift, you need a lens that allows you to have a mindset shift around how you monitor risks. We need to listen to the data. We need KRIs, not just KPIs. We need to change how we identify and assess risk. Not just impact likelihood, that's gonna be there for a long time, but for your key risks, you need to throw in velocity. And you notice I'm giving the summary in the reverse, right? Because I'm gonna end with the people side. The leaders need to stop looking to the chief risk officer to solve all of their risk problems. Why? Because the department heads, you are the risk owners. You should have the training and the mitigating tools to mitigate risk. Your risk manager is gonna support you and to help you to monitor and manage your risk. And once you get that, Scott, your company is gonna be more likely to thrive and not just survive. Thank you very much.